Is she your queen?
Yeah.
She your top
Spoilers, she's my wife of the season.
Is she your number one?
She's my one and only.
Of all time?
Not of all time,
What's your
but
all
she's
time?
great. I don't know. I couldn't tell you that. I've gone through so many girls.
I've gone through so many girls. He
This
really is
guy-
drowning
this
over
guy's
here.
a slut.
Last week we talked about how Hideki Anno said he'd be open to doing more Evangelion.
Uh-huh.
Well, I think I might know the reason. Studio Gainax just filed for bankruptcy.
Ooh. Gainax has not owned
By Anno?
Evangelion for a while.
Okay.
Because
okay.
Studio Kara.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Life is Daijoubu, episode 53. My name is Cole, and I am joined by Skylar over on the edge with the sporting the
motorcycle hat.
the motorcycle. That's what it was. Yeah, motorcycle hat, the dirt bike hat with the blazer, the jacket. I don't know what you want to call that. It's like
windbreak.
a raincoat.
Yeah, windbreak is
I
what they
love
call them.
how I love how it's like the middle of summer now. You're just like, I need a raincoat.
It was
I'm
chilled.
hot.
It's very chilled
Or
outside.
I'm cold. I mean, you're yes and you're no.
It's 56, and I'm used to
56.
80s right now.
It is not 56. It is 54, dirtbag. I mean, dirt bike. And I also got Thane right here sporting that great clips on his head. He's looking clean.
Ooh, Thane,
He's
how does it
looking
feel to be
fresh.
swimming, bro? How does it feel to be just
just
absolutely
swimming.
swimming? Or are you drowning?
He's drowning,
He's
baby.
drowning.
He's drowning.
What does that mean?
That's okay.
If you know, you know.
Oh,
Wink.
Does it feel good?
How
How do you handle it? How do you handle
feels awful.
Okay.
It's too much. You
Oh,
can't
yeah.
handle that much. You think you want to lower it down to like 2 to 3 swords max?
I'd rather just be showering.
Oh, you'd rather be showering.
Showering, gotcha. I didn't know you're into that, but hey, to each their own.
I mean, waiting. I'm waiting.
You're waiting. Okay.
Yeah.
So, this is Life is Daijoubu. That little clap was for myself to line up the audio. I'm clever that way.
But then you spoiled it.
I know, but I had to. It was too
You
good.
explained the joke.
I had to explain. It was too good. So, Life is Daijoubu. We're the anime podcast. We do the anime stuff. We've got our news talk. We got our seasonal talk. And, of course, when we get to the end of the show, the midway, the whatever you want to call it, we're going to be talking about Ghost in the Shell Arise. And I've got a feeling that we, with our takes, are going to piss off a lot of people with this show. So stay tuned for that. Maybe just 2 of our takes. I don't know. But, yeah, let's stay tuned for that. We've got some news. I got a list of news. Some of this will be basically quickly ran through. I feel like if you want to talk about something, just get it all out because I'm not sure how much discussion we'll have on Ghost in the Shell, if I'm being completely honest. I've got some stuff I want to talk about with that show, but I know others in our group may not. I'll run through the news first. So, quickly, we've got one season 2 announcement already. We got Delicious in Dungeon getting a season 2.
Yay.
I was under the impression that Delicious in Dungeon season 1 was covering the entirety of the manga. Based on the announcement of season 2, I'm going to assume that assumption was incorrect.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's.
Is the manga still going?
I think
No, it's
done.
over.
Yeah, it's like little too comparatively.
Yeah.
So season 2 will almost certainly finish it, whatever it has to say left. Yeah, that's a show. I enjoyed it. I need to get back to it, but I enjoy it when I did watch it.
I should watch it. I have it on my to-do list, the to-watch list. There's just too much to watch.
Yeah. The last episode that I watched was very tonally different than the previous episodes, and it didn't necessarily put me off, but I wanted my lighthearted eat the food in the dungeon show, not the oh my gosh, you know.
So he goes back to it in a second.
Okay, that's
For
good
a
to know.
second.
For a second.
Yeah.
Ruh-roh. Okay, next up, we've got Tokyo Revengers sequel mini anime. That's it's a retelling of some old classic fairy tales, but in the Tokyo Revengers universe. The first one they're doing is Momotaro. I have no idea. I'm very lost. I was under the impression that Tokyo Revengers had not finished animating everything in the manga. So I don't know why they're doing a technically a sequel, as it says, anime, when it's not done yet.
I don't know. I can't tell you. I don't watch Tokyo Revengers.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of watched it. I've not watched the last season, but I don't think that last season was ending the manga. So because the manga barely ended, it's recently ended. So yeah, there you go, you Tokyo Revengers fans. Sorry, your show's mid. I mean, I watched it. I can have that opinion. I'm allowed. Next thing on the list I've got is the fighting game Guilty Gear is getting an anime.
Wow.
That actually sounds very fun to me, and I'm hoping that the soundtrack they use is just as good, if not better, than the video game.
Yeah, that soundtrack does slap indeed, no
Yeah.
doubt. And the animation in the game just looks really good in general. So
It's been slapping for 20 years.
true.
Question: have we had fighting game animes before?
Yes, tons.
Like-
Tekken,
Okay.
Street Fighter,
Street
Blaze
Fighter
Blue
an
had
anime?
one. So yeah, there's a old movie that like where Chun-Li gets naked. Like people only remember Chun-Li naked.
Oh, I need
from
to
that
watch this movie. Not for that, for the
Yeah.
fighting.
Yeah.
For the street fighting.
Fighting's pretty good too. Also, Bryan Cranston's in the English dub. He's
Is he Chun-Li?
no, he's
I was really hoping
he's
it
the
was Chun-Li.
Bruce Lee guy. I can't remember his name.
So, follow-up question then: are these good? Because I've never heard about
Most
them.
of them are not good.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
I bet the Blaze Blue one's okay. Because
No,
that
I heard
one-
the Blaze Blue one is terrible.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like
Oof.
like because the story in initial Blaze Blue makes no sense, so it's just a bad.
So it doesn't
yeah.
correspond.
No,
So, do we have high hopes for this one then, or?
Probably not.
probably not. I'm gonna say it's also looked up. It's a side story, so it's like, oh, okay. Hey, if the animation's amazing, then probably like
And the music.
compared to other stories, Guilty Gear is not the worst, but it's still not mind blowing.
What fighting game's got good story?
I don't know.
I've never seen any of the Mortal Kombats, but I feel like the latest one they did like 4 or 5 years ago, people enjoyed. Is that true or false?
I don't know.
Story wise,
Well, like, yeah, I think a lot of people enjoyed it, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I don't know.
I never saw it.
Never saw it.
I don't know. I've only played the story of 9, and I thought that story was okay.
I've never really been a fighting gamer, so
Yeah,
I've got no stakes in any of that stuff.
I've tried years to get into fighting games, and I'm still kind of sad that I can't get into them because I would love to pull off some of the coolest stuff that the professionals pull off. Just can't.
Smash Bros is literally the only one that I've
I can't
really
even pull,
played.
I can't even pull off that stuff that the professionals do in Smash Brothers.
I comboed off in Multiverses once as Shaggy, so that made me feel real good.
That's cool.
So
Yeah, aside from
That's all I
getting
got.
my cheeks clapped by my dad in Street Fighter 2, Smash Bros is the only one that I've really ever played.
really hope nobody takes that sentence out of context. Moving on to the next announcement,
Don't
we've
clip
got
that.
Spy Family is getting a season 3. Because of course it is. Why wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's one of the most money-making,
I've got a hot
popular
take.
things.
I've got a hot take.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Spy Family is just going like this for me. At least the manga is. There's still a really good arc that's to be animated. But right now, how do you feel, Thing? You're currently reading it.
I think right now there's a backstory that I'm interested in that they're going through right now.
I'm glad you're interested in it because I'm not. I couldn't care less.
Oof, that
Yeah.
sucks.
I fell off the face of the planet with Spy Family
I'm getting there, dude.
about 2 years ago, I think.
I'm getting there, and I'm at the point where I'm like, maybe I would enjoy this better if it was animated.
Yeah, probably.
So I
Well,
think I might
you've
stop
admitted that
soon.
you're just not into manga lately.
No, I'm back.
Okay, you're
Baby's
back.
back.
Oh, okay.
Baby's got back. I mean,
I think
Baby is back.
Some of the problems is just I wasn't like a lot of the stuff I was reading, I just wasn't enjoying. A lot of my weeklies were pretty slow. There, aside from like Chainsaw Man bangs, Boruto bangs, and then Oshinoko
bangs.
but a lot of the other stuff.
Wink.
I mean, we get Chainsaw Man every other week. Boruto's once a month, and freaking Akka takes so many breaks. Plus, he's doing other things too.
Not anymore.
Oh yeah, he was.
Yeah, that's not on my news list, but we can say that now that we got a great transition. So Aka's other manga that he was writing for, Renai Daikao, I don't know how to say it. It got canceled. It was sad. I was reading that one as it came out. It was a lot of fun.
I think the problem is he's trying to juggle 2 manga at once, and he's like...
I thought they both were doing good, though. I was a big fan of both of them. I thought they were both a lot of fun.
Maybe he ended it, too. He's like, I kind of just want to focus on one.
No, it definitely got axed. They were starting an arc, and then they had to finish in the last 2 chapters.
I still feel like, especially somebody like Aka, they're so popular that they should be able to just start up their own website, and then people would pay to read.
Yeah, maybe.
But
Plus.
The only thing I can think of is there's probably some copyright issues with who owns the license to whatever he's doing.
Plus, they'd have to pay the artist still if he wanted to do it as a manga, I guess.
Does he do this one through Shueisha, or does it through other one?
Your guess is as good as mine. I actually have no idea where it comes from. But it is now over. I read the final chapter and cried.
There were some other things that got canceled that we were reading. Green Greens.
Green Greens. Welcome to Shonen Jump, where you can never have a manga you enjoy from the beginning.
Yeah, go back to when we first started watching it. I'm pretty sure we have on record of either me or you and I both saying that it was going to get canceled.
Yeah, totally. The writing was on the wall from the first couple chapters where, we enjoyed it, but we knew it wasn't going to be popular enough to keep going.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, golf's just... It's more exciting to play than it ever is to watch and read about.
I thought I thought they carried that was the relationships between the characters. I thought they were really good.
Yeah, I agree.
So
the other golf manga from the guy who wrote Kuroko's Basketball. It's like, hey, it's Kuroko's Basketball guy. It's got to be axed.
Rip.
And then he made Kill Blue, which is
Kill Blue's fun.
Yeah.
I'm happy I'm reading that one at least. That one's
that one's successful.
It one is definitely successful. It's been a
it's
lot of
also
fun.
Successful is Undead Unluck.
Is it over yet?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
I don't think so. I think it's like gearing up, like they're trying to gear up to the climax, but I don't know how long that'll take.
Speaking of manga that are ending, quote unquote, soon, because who knows when they're actually going to be ending. I've got a little bit of a list here. We've got Oshinoko has just entered its final arc, according to the last chapter. Like the last panel says, the final arc starts now or whatever.
Well, I'm glad I'm reading that right now.
Nagatoro, I believe, has one more chapter, then it's done. Maybe 2. My Hero Academia has entered its epilogue.
It took a break this week.
Week. Jujutsu Kaisen also took a break this week, but apparently it's been in the last arc for the past year.
It's been the final battle for the past couple months.
Oh,
actually,
months.
Even more than that.
Okay, maybe a year.
It's got that Dragon Ball syndrome.
As we just said, Undead Unluck is potentially on the way out. And so Shonen Jump specifically is needing to fill some spaces in their magazine. And I know another one started today. I did not read it. I only read the 3 that I have going because I'm just depressed about manga and Shonen Jump. So,
do we have predictions on if there's anything that's currently going to take place in one of the big 3?
Yeah, I do. I definitely do.
Sakamoto Days.
Yeah. Sakamoto Days. And I know it's a meme to say, but I honestly think Kagurabachi's going to do it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's missing it. I think it's transcended the meme to become a really good series. I'm very into it. The characters are very fun.
Has that one got an anime announcement?
No.
It's still too young.
It's one of the fastest, if not the fastest. I think one might have beat it, but one of the fastest manga to get an official English translation book publication.
Okay.
It's not out yet, but I think it comes out in October, which is less than a year.
It's going to be the Trigun of Shonen Jump.
I probably should get back into that. What are we, 30 chapters in, 40 chapters?
Yeah, 30-something.
So I could catch up pretty quickly.
It's fun. I really have been enjoying it. I think the art's been slowly getting better. I think the characters are a lot more fun than they were when they started, especially this new character they added in that's going to be, I'm assuming, is becoming one of, the main characters, like the Sasuke almost. It's like, okay, this is Naruto, but the main character is Sasuke and his buddy's Naruto instead. That's what this is.
Yeah. So it's got the darker protagonist.
Yeah. Yep. And his buddy's the kind of happier but goes through some trauma stuff as well.
Yeah, well, they set that tone in chapter 1.
Sure,
'cause he's
yeah.
like, I'm ready to kill, or he's like, what did he say? Something like,
says-
I like to feel the pain
He
or
says
something.
these scars. Every time I wake up, I see these scars, and they give me a fresh hatred in the morning.
Yeah, that's what it
It's
is.
so stupid.
It's like, God, dude,
It's so
It's
cringy.
edgy.
this dude needs some warm milk in his life.
But like for real though, I think it's fun. It's a lot of fun. They're not afraid to kill characters. They've already killed characters, so like, it's an interesting manga for those reasons alone.
I'll probably get back into it. I think one of my problems, and this probably just a me thing, is at least as of recent, I've been more apt to reading things that are already finished.
Yeah.
Because I've just came to the conclusion that I'm a binge type personality. I just like to binge.
I don't blame you one bit at all. I agree. Being able to binge something to completion feels so good.
Yeah.
But if you're binging something, what's that little smirk there thing?
Yeah, binge these nuts.
I heard. I know what I said. You don't need. But when you're binging something that's only got like 30 to 40 chapters, you get to that ending and you're just like, F. I recently did that with one. Was very into it, but it was only like 35 chapters so far, and so it was very disappointing when I got caught up.
I guess real quick too, while we're on the topic of binging versus the weekly, do you guys feel like most manga benefit from the binge as opposed to the weekly, or do you think it's the other way around?
I think it's the other way around. I think it's the hype. Okay. There's a stipulation with it. Yeah, I think you have to be looking into community talks about it, like going onto the Reddit or the comment section on Manga Plus to see what people have to say. Well, the comments in Manga Plus kind of crazy right now, but the Reddit comments specifically, it's just the discussions. I think you have to like go looking for these discussions, and if you do that, I think the weekly manga experience is superior. But if you don't do any of that, then binging is probably the way to go.
See, then that's probably my issue. Is I probably need to just get more involved with what other people are saying. Because specifically what comes to mind is Rent a Girlfriend. I feel like that one, just the read itself, would benefit heavily from a binge because
Yeah.
it's got so many slow arcs.
There is that as well. I think some manga do just inherently benefit from a binge. But even still, like after I get done with the chapter, I read the comments on the Reddit, and that makes it
more
not
fun.
as bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to do that too.
All right. Let's move on to the rest of these news. We've got... I'll skip that one for now. Okay. Here's one. Princession Orchestra anime. What is this?
Sounds like a manga.
A manga?
I'm going to say a light novel.
It's an original. It's an original anime. I know nothing about it. It's got 3 princess-looking girls. It looks kind of like a Sailor Moon-esque type. So I don't know. Orchestra, so it's going to be music, right? And princession, that's a funny word. I'm into the funny words. Okay, this one's a fun one. So we got we'll skip these two because they're both fun. This one is Hajur Skill Kinomi Master anime. What is that?
I'm going to say manga.
Probably manga.
Yeah, it says manga / novels. I'm gonna assume
Both.
novel. Yeah, both. So
Probably something
Mixed
like
media
Overlord, maybe.
project.
I have no idea what this is about, by the way. I just saw it and I threw it out there because it's one of the things. All right, the 2 fun ones. First one is the novel series Leviathan, which is an American Western novel. It's like a trilogy.
Oh.
It's getting an anime
Huh.
done by Orange
Huh.
That could be fun.
on Netflix.
I don't know anything about Leviathan, by the way.
I know nothing about it. I just
Yeah.
literally learned about it today. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
shoot, that's crazy. They're animating an American fantasy novel. I think it's not cyberpunk, excuse me, steampunk. I think it's a steampunk novel.
We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
After you're done.
All right, next thing. This one's an interesting one. And Skylar specifically will be on board and excited about this. But the anime movie, Lord of the Rings, The War of Rohirrim.
Rohirrim.
Rohirrim. Oh, I thought
Yeah.
I thought I had it, dude.
That's okay.
It was announced that the executive producer is going to be Peter Jackson.
People are freaking nutting, dude. Me included. We're
Yeah,
so
I saw the
stoked for this.
pictures. It's like, oh, that looks good. Also, tying to the show, Kenji Kamiyama, I think that's how you pronounce his name, the director of Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, is doing this anime.
Oh, really? So it's
Yeah.
gonna look good.
Yeah, he's worked at production IG for years. So, but this is Warner Brothers he's going through. So
I see.
yeah,
And it'll be airing on Netflix. Oh no, it's not. Never mind.
It's
That's Leviathan.
theatrical.
Excuse me. I got my brain mixed up. I don't know where it's airing.
yeah.
There's no announcement date yet, right?
No, I think
No.
it's in December.
Oh, really?
Yeah, December 14th or something. I can't remember.
So I have until then to watch all of the Lord of the Rings movies, all of the Hobbit movies, all of the Amazon TV show,
You don't have to.
and then I can watch this.
I don't
movie with
think you
guys in
have to watch
theaters.
any of this.
Okay.
Like, honestly, the Rohirrim show up in the second film and the third film. But
Okay.
let me spoil it for you. It's just a band of riders that ride horses.
Oh, okay.
They're just,
the
soldiers.
Riders of Rohirrim.
Yeah, they're just soldiers that ride horses.
I see. All right. The last.
Wait,
Oh.
what's the place called? Minas Tirith?
No, it's
Oh.
Rohan.
Rohan. That's a different thing.
Minas Tirith, the White City.
Okay. Oh, okay. So yeah, okay. I'm getting my lore mixed up.
It's okay. I'll kiss you later.
Oh,
Your Lord of the Rings.
yeah.
Magic the Gathering. All right, last thing we've got is this one's an interesting one. Last week we talked about how Hideki Anno said he'd be open to doing more Evangelion.
Uh-huh.
Well, I think I might know the reason. Studio Gainax just filed for bankruptcy.
Ooh. Gainax has not owned
By Anno?
Evangelion for
Oh,
a while.
Okay.
Because
okay.
Studio Kara did the rebuilds.
So that's not his studio.
It's not
then.
his studio.
He founded it and then he left. All his
Gotcha.
creative people, like the guy who did Gurren Lagann, went to go find Trigger. Anno went to, I guess, form Kara.
Gotcha.
Like the guy who did Fooly Cooly, he did the sequels Production IG. Gainax was not involved.
Gotcha.
And if you look at their releases, it's nothing like their catalog. Like, they thrived on all those weird experimental stuff, especially after Evangelion, and they just haven't been doing that.
So,
I can understand.
so
why.
Gainax owns no rights to Evangelion anymore.
Nope.
Anno still has those.
Anno.
Okay.
He took them.
Well, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
I was so lost there for a bit, but now I get it.
All the creative stuff seemed to left with Anno, and I can't remember the name of the guy, the Trigger guy, but they all left and took
Yeah.
the creative stuff.
So, reading a little bit into this, it just sounds like it was poorly managed.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like one of the things was like their funds got misappropriated at one point. They invested into something where the guy didn't really know what he was doing, into like a movie or something. And so, yeah, there you go.
If I remember correctly, I think one of the founders got arrested for sexual assault, but I can't quite remember.
Yikes. Well,
Something.
welcome to anime.
Yeah.
I honestly thought there'd be more to talk about because I was unaware
Yeah.
that Evangelion wasn't a part of them anymore. But
Yeah.
now that I know they're not, it all just makes sense. I still liked my joke though. I thought that was quite funny. Sorry to throw you under the bus on it. I get it now. You're still thriving.
Yeah, especially with when he directed three movies that are reimaginings that all were successful. Was Shin Godzilla, Shin Ultraman, and Shin Kamen Rider.
Did he do those through his studio or for like other studios?
I think he just did it through Toho.
Okay.
Or No, wait. He did Godzilla and Ultraman through Toho, and then the other one he did through Toei.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, whoever owns them. The
Yeah.
rights, yeah.
Well, I think that wraps up the news. Did you guys have any?
Oh yeah, about the Leviathan book getting
Okay,
an
yeah,
anime.
yeah.
I was looking up. I want some books that are like anime-esque. So I look on the best source for that, Reddit. It's like, and someone asked the question, "What books are anime like?" I just look at the bottom. I scroll down and I see, and someone just single comments as Brandon Sanderson, and I was like,
Yeah, I can see it. I
Yeah.
can see it. I mean, as I've gone through the Mistborn series and I just finished Elantris. Elantris is not very anime-like. It's got little things here and there. There's tropes. Main character in Elantris feels like an anime main character because he's just a good boy. But other than that, like Elantris, not as much. But Mistborn definitely's got a lot of anime-esque to it,
Yeah.
especially like how Western media, it always tries to end on a big happy banger, like, yeah, let's effing go every single time. Brandon Sanderson does not do that. He ends very melancholy sometimes, which I'm all for because
it's different.
It's different, And anime, that's why I like anime so much, because it's such different from what I'm used to. So yeah, I can get on board with that dude saying.
Yeah.
Shout out to Reddit.
I know, and since I don't think Brandon Sanderson would be opposed to the idea of a Mistborn or Stormlight.
No,
anime.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, he threw the freaking dude in Fortnite for some reason.
Yeah.
It was like a stealth drop. I guess if you knew, you knew.
If you knew, you knew.
If
you didn't know, you're just like, who's this dude?
Bye.
Instant they said they're working on movies, but it's like I think those would be a bit better suited for TV.
So the way, from what I understand, is the first Mistborn book is supposed to be a movie, and then after that would be a TV show. It's kind of what he would want, but I mean, like, what's to say? Who knows?
Yeah, like a movie to get people hyped up, and
Yeah.
they said we're continuing with the TV show from Amazon.
From Amazon. Well, that pretty much wraps up the news. Next up, we're gonna talk about our seasonal shows. Next episode will be our seasonal review. So before we go full on into our seasonal shows, we're going to talk about one show that we all dropped. And of course, actually, did we want to talk about the on ice or the on dropped?
I would much rather talk about the on ice.
Okay, never mind. Scratch that. We're not talking about the drop show. We're talking about the shows that at least one show that we might drop that is on ice.
I could go
Skylar's
first.
excited. He wants to talk. Let's go.
Man, I feel like a sinner for saying this, but I feel like everybody agrees. Demon Slayer is so boring. It is incredibly boring right now. And I remember you saying, Cole, when you're like, yeah, if they probably need to make this next arc a movie and just get over with real quick.
Yeah.
They should have.
They should have. I'm still surprised they didn't.
Money.
I think I'm in like an episode or two behind. Like this just...
Oof.
Maybe it's because they knew that it wouldn't be as exciting for a movie as like the last one.
Probably. And I'm sure it's one of those like, well, we probably want to try to just animate everything and not skip. But I wonder if there was a better way to just condense it all. Because I feel like we're... Not that I remember entirely what exactly happened in the manga at this point, but I remember it being boring.
Yeah.
And it's like, dang, dude, I don't know if we're going over every excruciating detail, but we're like 5, 6, 7 episodes in, and it's just...
I had to ask my buddy what the ending of this season should be because I couldn't remember in the manga. And then after I remembered that, another buddy asked me if he can just skip this season, and I said, watch episode 1 and then they'll watch the last episode of the season. You'll be fine.
Yeah. It's just training.
Hell, even Luke says he thinks that Demon Slayer sucks. He just says it sucks. The whole...
Yeah, the characters aren't that great in
Yeah.
Demon Slayer.
Like, I've read the manga, and I've not even started I started the season 1 a while ago. And it's like, I'll watch it, but then what I heard from this current season's like, I don't know if I really want to...
You watched that movie with us in the theaters, didn't you?
No.
It was just me and
It was
you.
just me and you? Oh.
That's a Mandela effect, bro.
I got Mandela into freaking thinking you were with
I
us.
still think that Demon Slayer is one of the most beautiful looking animes out there, and it has some of the coolest fight scenes ever.
Ufotable kills it, dude.
Yeah,
But
You guys are not wrong. The characters are real boring, and right now,
even
there's
the manga, like beautiful manga art, the writer is not a good writer, a good artist, not really a good writer.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it looks okay on the manga, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I haven't started Demon Slayer. And there's 2 others said I was gonna start, but I haven't started them because I'm just watching my seasonals and watching Konosuba. Still trying to catch up with that. I'm just like 2 episodes behind. But My Hero and Slime San, I've got 1 season of My Hero to catch up with, which is the war arc. And then I haven't even started Slime Sama. But maybe I'll try to catch them with them next season since they're carrying over.
Yeah. Well, for me, this is sad because it's on ice, but I still would like to get to it, but I just don't have any desire to jump on it. It's Spice and Wolf, the remake thing.
I think it's good.
I'm enjoying
I thought
it
it was
too.
good too, but there's just nothing making me go, man, I want to watch that. You know, maybe I don't like maybe I don't like economics as much as I thought I might.
I like the bartering. I like, all right, I'll give you this much for this much.
The worst part for me is like I stopped halfway through an arc. Like it's literally like minor spoilers. It's that chapter or that episode where Holo gets taken, and that's it. I just stopped there. I haven't finished it. I don't know what happens next. I feel bad, but
Yeah, you actually
I
got
don't
me to
know.
watch this show. You're like, hey, you'd probably like it.
I think you would.
I am enjoying it.
I figured it was a Sky show. I guess it's just not a Cole show.
Maybe try the original because people say they like the original.
Really?
better. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I know how I am.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna like this show, it's gonna be this one. It's not gonna be the original.
That's probably true.
Just knowing how I am about like old school animation, I'm not huge on it. Very rarely do I jump onto it and be like, yeah, this is hype.
Yeah.
Like Evangelion was easy to watch, but it was just freaking weird. That's why it was fun.
I know the economics of the show are like kind of the big main selling point, or it's like that's what it's about. But I very much enjoy the relationship between
Holo's the selling point, especially when she gets naked.
Hey, that's what got me to watch this show was Holo. I won't lie.
But
She's
she doesn't
cute.
really get naked much anymore.
She was real cute.
But well, I'm not going to spoil
She
that.
does cute wolf things.
Yeah, she's got a fun personality,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
I love her.
Is she your queen?
Yeah.
Is she your top two?
Spoilers, she's my wife of the season.
Is she your number one
She's my one and only.
of all time?
Not of all time,
What's your
but
all
she's
time?
great. I don't know. I couldn't tell you that. I've gone through so many girls.
I've gone through so many girls. He
This
really is
guy-
drowning
this
over
guy's
here.
a slut. Unfaithful slut.
Oh man. Well, I think that wraps up our talk on all of that. The seasonal stuff in the news.
Are we ready to belly flop into
I think
the...
it's time to belly flop into the world of Ghost in the Shell Arise.
And I'm gonna start this. All right.
Spoilers. for Ghost in
Spoilers.
the
Oh
Shell
yeah.
Arise.
Spoilers for Ghost Arise. So the main summary, it's like a alternate continuity of Ghost in the Shell, which I don't know why out of these shows this one's like gotten so many continuities over the years, but whatever. Even the original movie is like very loosely based off the manga. Like, in fact, I think even you guys would enjoy the manga because it's kind of just dumb action with a bit of interesting world building. But the story is about a character named Major Motoko Kusanagi, and she's fully cybernetic. What's the word? Yeah, she's fully a cyborg, like fully cybernetic, like not really anything organic,
Like a
except for her
robot
brain.
body.
Yeah, robot body.
Oh, she's got an organic brain?
I think, but I can't remember.
I guess I would call that a cyborg then.
Yeah, but she leads a squad. She's like former military, and she leads a squad called Section 9, and they go bust terrorists, cyber terrorists. And I will tell you right now, this is not a beginner-friendly show. Like
No.
I thought it was like, oh, let's pick this one. There's a new Ghost in the Shell anime coming out. Let's do this. This show was written more for fans, even though it's a reimagining, because fans probably wrote it. It's like, oh, what if it was this? But it feels like it does not ease you in at all. I enjoyed it more than these guys did. Most likely, we'll hear them in a bit, but. Yeah, I could see why Sky, he said he fell asleep. It's like, if you don't know anything beforehand, like I love Standalone Complex. I think it's one of the best sci-fi animes at least ever made. And like going into Arise, like, hey, I've watched Standalone Complex. I think I'll have fun. And then I watch it. It's like, wow, this is doesn't explain too much. It feels like you need to watch that before this. And one of the problems is the chronology of things, like especially watching alternative architecture, the anime version of the OVAs they had, which is kind of a confusing release order, but that's when we watched.
Very
I feel like
confusing.
this show is like one of those detective boards with strings going to
Yeah,
all different things.
yeah.
And you're trying to keep track of it all.
And the worst part is that the anime doesn't even wrap up because there's a few loose ends. You got to go watch the movie, which I don't think you guys are going to do. I'm probably going to go watch it. But I don't know much I could say because like it's been a while, so a lot of the terminology for me was confusing. I did grasp some things like, okay, yeah, I get that. But I thought like for the 2 story arcs, I thought they were fine. Like the pacing was fine. Like it had a lot of action, had a lot of exposition to go through. I don't know, like, but I still think people, if they want to get into Ghost Shell or watch good sci-fi, I think they should just watch Standalone Complex. It's a bit longer, but it's easier to get into. It eases you in better, and I think this is just written for the fans.
I will say I enjoyed this better than the original movie that I watched.
Yeah, the movie's kind of hard to get into because it's like very ambiguous. Like it's for like if you have to watch it, it's like pay attention, be like, oh, is she really her original self? Like it's very like ambiguous like that.
Yeah,
which I can understand people don't enjoy. I liked it for the visuals, but the story was like could have done more with it. I don't know.
I've got plenty of thoughts.
Yeah.
I'm sure Skylar's got thoughts. I want to talk about one thing before we actually give our thoughts, though. Obviously, I was very lost with the story. I didn't know what was happening half the time, but that's what I'm talking about. I would specifically want to mention, or ask rather, can you explain the time leaps, the time jumps? Because like between like some episodes, it feels like it's been months or years, and I have no idea what is happening.
I think that's a problem. I don't think they really tell you what time that they leaped. Like maybe the character mentions it, but yeah, it's feeling too. The chronology just felt kind of confusing, even though like I looked up the times. Like most like the first 2 episodes are like before episodes 3 through 3 through 8. I think episodes 1 and 2 are after that, and then 9 and 10 are like the finale.
So they just put it in a dumb order, and if they would have put it in the right order, then I would have been as confused, probably, huh?
They were trying to do like the big, like, oh, here's a big reveal, but it's like, because
like,
I don't think you would.
Episode
really
1 and 2, like you see the guy with the weird eyeballs,
Bato.
and he's like hanging out with him, like he's buddies with him, and like the very next like episode 3 or something, he's like a bad guy.
Yeah, they're
and I'm
shooting
like,
at him.
Oh, I wonder if this has been like 3 or 4 years, and
they,
now he's a mercenary and he's against him.
They
now.
got that part. He got hacked. So like, but it's like,
okay.
wait, what? Like, but it's like, wait, why is he? But I realized at the end that's the forming of Section 9. I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
so they form Section 9's like, so I guess
that
they're
stuff takes place before episode 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's like, so their formation, I guess, didn't happen yet until after that when they got unhacked by that guy, and now it's now they form Section 9. Oh, okay. Whereas in like Standalone Complex, Section 9 is just a thing the whole way through. They're already together through Section 9, and then they just have backstory throughout. That's why I love Standalone Complex, and that's why I think you guys should give that one a chance, because I actually really love Standalone Complex.
Well, Ghost in the Shell is kind of 0 for 2 for me right now, so I don't
agreed.
I don't know how soon I'm gonna be excited to jump on Standalone Complex. I've got plenty of things to say. Skylar, do you have something you want to start with?
I honestly don't have much. Like Thane already mentioned, I watched episode 1 and episode 2, and I'm like, okay, for one, I didn't really understand. I don't understand the world very much. Like, I don't understand this system of like Kusanagi would hack some of the other people sometimes, and they'd punch themselves or whatever. Like, she had control over people sometimes, but then you had hackers that could control other people. And like, is everybody just connected, and anyone can hack anyone at any time?
It's kind of like a big hacking game where it's like, oh, who's hacking who? Like, okay, so like who? Like, it's kind of like, oh, we got like a new hacker that can hack even deeper than the other one. It's like,
I hate that. I hate how the major issues are 100% of the time, not even 99% of the time, 100% of the time it's, oh no, this person was hacked, or oh no, this thing was hacked. I hate that so much.
It's like where the other material, it's like they hacked into a system. You got to go in. It's like encrypt your data.
Unhack that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that whole thing was very confusing. And then, like Cole already mentioned, with the way that they told the story, I was so lost and out of it. I'm like, now we're shooting dude with glasses. But now I'm looking at that happened.
Yeah, that part's
before,
very confusing.
and I could not stay awake for the life of me with this show. Like, there are scenes where I'm like, wow, this looks really pretty. And the fight scenes are cool.
The music's great, too.
Yeah, music's great too. But then, like, I tried, like I said, I got through episode 1 and 2, started episode 3, passed out a good chunk of the way through it, woke back up. I basically got to episode 7 by sleeping, and then I had to go back and rewatch all of that. I could not stay awake for the life of me. I was just so uninterested in anything that this show had to offer, and mostly because I was just so confused on what was going on. And also, I just wasn't a big fan of any of the characters.
Fair.
Yeah, I feel like they do these characters better, especially Major in Standalone Complex. I'll suck Standalone Complex off until you guys watch it. But you don't have to. Like, yeah, this is a terrible show for people's like, oh, you should watch this one. Yeah, this is like a terrible show for them to start.
Not the jumping in point.
No, it's not. It's definitely a fan show.
This is the deep end.
Yeah, this is the deep end. You should, yeah.
So I've got some gripes. I want to say my gripes with the show before I talk about the good stuff, so so I can end on good things, now rather than this doom and gloom parade.
Yeah.
Very first thing is, and I hate to compare because it kind of sucks to compare to things, but I'm a human and that's what we do. We compare things.
Yeah.
I'm going to be comparing this to Psycho-Pass right now. Because I think they're similar worlds.
I mean, like, Psycho-Pass definitely was heavily inspired
100%,
by Ghost in the Shell.
You can tell. You can tell right away it's inspired from it.
Yeah.
So, this is the first thing. In this show, in Arise, things happen in the world a lot. People die, explosions, the city is shut down on the freeways so that they can't go anywhere. But there's never any repercussions for any of that. There's no people going like, man, dude, that traffic jam sure sucked the other day. Man, my freaking uncle got killed in that massive slaughter that happened in that one scene.
I have a feeling from their it's mostly from their perspective, so it doesn't feel like, oh, that's just them every day. It does
totally.
Yeah, Standalone Complex does that a bit better. It's like the mass shooting that happened yesterday affected.
As a result, Arise's world feels dead.
Yeah.
The world is only these
everyone's
characters,
dead.
and that's it.
Yeah, everyone's
nothing matters.
Dead. Yeah.
Even like whenever you see like a side character, it's just like, oh, that person's just walking around doing nothing. Now let's flip to Psycho-Pass and compare. In Psycho-Pass, things happen. Terrible terrorist things happen. And as a result, the entire society starts to react to it. And you see that.
Yeah.
If Arise had something more of that, I would have been so much more invested into the world.
Yeah, they're trying to make everything feel standalone, and that's the problem. Like, if they had better connections, there are a few little tiny breadcrumbs like, oh, maybe this is connected. But it's like, it doesn't feel grand.
Think that
like
they
a
were
going to
start
scale.
that, though, because the whole show starts with the people uprising against the government.
Yes. Yeah. But then they don't do any of it. And so that's probably my biggest complaint with the show, is that this world seems like they build such an incredible and fascinating world, but then they don't show it.
It's someone else's world they try to build off of.
And that probably just I still think it should be able to live on its own, even though it probably doesn't.
But yeah, you should probably have a more fleshed out idea before you try to make something like, I'm gonna make a Ghost in the Shell show. But it's like,
you still need to assume that people are this is gonna be the first time they watch Ghost in the Shell, essentially this show.
Yeah.
And that's with anything you make. If you make a sequel of anything, you need to assume that this could be the very first time someone experiences this world.
Yeah, especially if it's been a while.
Yeah. Because
this has been like a few years gap, and so people are thinking, oh, is this a good jumping on point? And then you gotta kind of throw cold water on them and say no.
So that's without a doubt my biggest gripe with the show, is just the world feels dead.
Yeah.
The next thing, this is not as big of a gripe, but it's the tone of the show. Every now and then the tone just feels like not correct. They try very hard to be hyper, like, tonally, like, serious, right? Like, the whole thing is very serious. But every now and then you have weird, goofy things on the side. And I can only relate this one to Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Yeah.
Like, there's a scene that, like, they parallel each other. There's a scene in Edge Runners where the car, like, goes sideways while they're driving. In Ghost in the Shell, we see a car, like, go sideways while it's driving because they, they urged it and it's going sideways. And I'm just like, is this the serious show that I've been watching the past 4 episodes or whatever?
Yeah.
And so that just felt weird.
It takes leaps in logic.
It takes
the only
leaps
time
in
you
logic.
can leap in logic is when you're diving in to the
Yeah, and that's different.
I can't remember that. Yeah,
that works. I think that's
yeah.
fine.
That's the coolest parts of the show.
Exactly. Yeah. But anyway, those are my major gripes.
Yeah.
We already talked about the other things that I had issues with, like the opening and everything, but not the opening song, but like the opening of the TV show, like the couple episodes, All right, let's talk about the good things.
Yeah.
First one's small. It's those little red or not little. I say little, but the big red robots. I love those guys. They're so cute and funny.
They even have more screen time. There's even more of them, more screen time in Standalone Complex. I call it SAC for short.
I just think they're hilarious. They're very cute. I love how they've got
Tachikomas.
They basically just got little kids to voice them. And it's the funniest little thing in the world. I love them. All right. Now for the thing that actually got me interested in the show the most and what kind of kept me going watching the show. Other than the fact that we're doing it for for the podcast. But okay. So we have Motoko as a character.
Yeah.
She is the most fascinating thing in this entire show.
Yeah,
it's
really like
her whole dilemma of thinking. You said in the movie we have this thing where as the viewers we go, is she actually the person or she's more the cyborg?
Yeah.
In this show, it's Motoko thinking those things.
Yeah.
And it's not expressed that she actually is thinking these things. It's just very blunt and apparent that's on her face. She's going, am I human? Kind of like that. Is she still thinking about she's human? And like the peak of this is when she gets that boyfriend. Mm-hmm. It's like she realizes she just wants somebody to not think of her as a machine.
Yeah, and then Bato and the guys are like, she's been through several boyfriends. Hey, there's one guy that lasted only a week.
Yep.
It's like,
yep.
Like, this one lasted 3 months. Wow, she's a...
because this guy starts thinking of her as not as a human, or not as a robot, but as a human. And so we see her humanity start to come through, and she's like, oh, shoot. I do want to be a human, I do want to dress up and look nice for this guy kind of a thing. All of these normal human emotions, and then she gets betrayed, and then her human emotions shut down and she reverts back to the robot. And I think it's such a fascinating thing, a fascinating story beat. It's just a dang shame that happens right before the ending, because then I just don't care about the last 2 episodes because that arc's already done.
I think her character development in SAC is like amazing. Like she's
better.
The drive of the show. Like even the last arc of Second Gig, which is the second season, is like probably one of the most emotional things. Like her, like it shows like her backstory and like a relation with the antagonist, and it's like, wow, this is very deep, very like a great climax for the series until the movie, which adds a little bit more to her character. Just watch SAC if you're gonna watch.
How many episodes is it?
It's like 50. It's pretty long, but
makes sense though. You gotta shove so much in.
But you can watch. I think you could look up a watch guide. Some episodes are standalone if you just want to watch the canon stuff. Like it's only like 15 or so episodes.
I see.
Yeah, but I think a lot of the standalone episodes are pretty fun. Have a lot of great concepts, and they just flesh out the world better. Also, from Kenji Kamiyama, a legendary director. So I don't know who directed this, Rise.
I think it looked fine. I think the animation was really good.
Yeah, it's Production IG, so
it's
definitely Production IG just does some amazing work. Whatever they do, because they're like one of those very high end studios. They even do like Western animation a lot outside of their Japanese animation. They're that prolific.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I got much to talk about. You guys are just not interested in this show.
No, I'd still want to hear what you think about it, though.
I thought it was a very fun show because I've had experience with Ghost in the Shell. But yeah, like there's some parts where I'm lost because I don't think the storytelling's very like clear or cohesive. You have to like look up a guide afterwards, like, oh, it takes place at. It's like, and I think story should always be clear, even if there's like, if you want like a show where you have to look up a guide, you should have like the base knowledge, like base
the
story,
foundation.
the foundation. Like if it's a psychological show, like everything put up front. It's like, and then like you can look up fan theories about what happens. But I think it should be more concise. I shouldn't have to look up stuff afterwards. And I just like, I think also like where all the other characters are like Bato, Bulma, Saito, Paz, the inspector, or the Tachikawa. those characters are like, I see them. It's like, hey, it's those guys, but they don't really have much. Especially Tachikawa, like he's like got his own like arcs in SAC, and I really like that character. And Bato too, like he's really cool. Like he gets a lot more fleshed out. But these, they're kind of just like there. They're kind of just side characters, and it's like I wish they did more with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really did like that one guy on their team. I don't know his name, but he's the human, like actually full on human.
Yeah, Tachikawa.
Yeah, he's got like the wife and kid,
I think
the
that's his name.
kid
Let me
that was
look
just
it.
born. I thought that was so funny, and then like that's another thing that like drove Motoko to be like, oh shoot, he's a flesh bag, and like he's happy. He's got a life, you know. He's got a wife. He's got a kid on the way.
Can't get his brain hacked. His body
Can't get
hacked.
his brain hacked whenever. And I thought that was real cool. I thought for sure he was dying, though. As soon as that happened, I'm like, this guy's
No,
effing
you
dead,
can't
dude.
kill him. His name's not Tachikawa. Hold on, let me look it up.
I saw that, and I was like, dude, they're going to kill him off. I'm going to be so sad because he's, like, a cool guy. In any other show, I think they would have killed him. Especially immediately after he said, I got to go to run on my wife's birth, or my wife's pregnancy birth, or whatever.
Yeah, he would have died if he was not a beloved character.
But that was fun. Like I said, it progressed Motoko's character arc even more, and I was all for that. And I imagine that's probably what Standalone Complex does, is a lot more of that kind of stuff.
Togusa. Sorry, his name's Togusa.
Togusa.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah,
I think I was getting a Tachikoma in my mind because that's the robots,
little
the
robots.
Tachikomas.
I love those little things. So cute.
Ishikawa's the...
He's the hacker
yeah,
guy.
Yeah.
They're all hackers.
Yeah,
Never
Ishikawa's
mind,
the
never mind.
hacker. He's like the
he's
he's
the guy
like
that
the
like at the end episode he put him
yeah.
back into touch with the chief.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's like the guy who's always on the desk. Like
Yeah.
he's like the guy's like, all right, there's some enemies at that area right over there.
The informant
Yeah,
or
the
whatever.
informant. Yeah.
The intelligence guy. Yeah. So overall, I wasn't a huge fan, but the things that I liked, I'm glad I found something that I liked in this show. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah.
Maybe someday. It's a very slim chance, but maybe someday I will watch Standalone Complex.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I highly recommend it. I'd say if you're thinking I should watch Arise, I'd say wait, hold off on that. Go watch Standalone Complex first.
Well, even coming from a fan of Ghost of the Shell, it sounds like you were very confused on the writing as well. I think it suffers more so from bad writing than it does of like not understanding the world.
I wouldn't say bad writing. I would say
placements of things.
fleshed out,
writing.
more fleshed out. Like it had good ideas, seemed very good, but I think they needed more time to cook it.
I think they should have stuck with one arc
Yeah, one
rather than multiple.
big
as well.
arc that like was nicely knitted together to make like a good solid story. And yeah,
I'm also gonna blame Crunchyroll / Funimation a little bit too for making it really confusing on how to watch it.
Yeah, so I looked this up. So apparently, like they have. So originally, this show was released in OVAs called Borders, and Borders 1 through 4 were dubbed by Funimation, and then it's like, all right, we'll put Border 5 in an anime and call it Alternative Architecture, or just call it Ghost Cell gets AAA. There you go. And the problem is Funimation, all they had to do was just carry the dub over from the Borders to AAA. They didn't do that. And also, as a result, they didn't dub the last 2 episodes. Who knows why they did that? Laziness. Didn't get the clear through from production IG. I don't know. They even have the movie dubbed, which is real confusing, which comes after all this. So I don't know. Also for people's like, the story didn't feel wrapped up. It wraps up in the movie. From what I know, I'll probably watch the movie and tell you guys what I think. But yeah, not a great jumping off point. I think it was a fine show, for Ghost in the Shell, but yeah, I just think Standalone Complex is everything better.
In hindsight, I think I wish I just would have watched those the 4 dubbed OVAs and then just watched the last 2 episodes subbed, which were the first 2 episodes of the show, right?
Yeah. Well, like, yeah, Border 4 was the first 2 episodes.
Okay.
And it's takes place after Borders 1 through 3. Those are actually chronological.
Okay. I wish I would have just done it
Yeah.
like that instead. That way I could have, like, not have to hyper focus on the words and be able to still see what's
Yeah.
going on. Because I
Yeah.
think that's partly where I missed out on stuff was I was trying to see what's going on in the show as well as read. And there's just a lot to take
Yeah, with
in.
a show like this, you definitely need a dub. I'm kind of sad that Crunchyroll handled it so poorly.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, I'm not going to give this a rating because it's going to be kind of low. If I'm being completely honest, it would be right in the middle. As it's like a 5 or a 6 for me.
Yeah.
I think I gave it literally that, like a 5.
Because it's not like I like if I was a fan of the series, I think I would like Thane. I think I would have liked it a lot more. So I guess the moral of this story is
Do your research.
do your research. This could be a great show for you if you're a fan of Ghost in the
Yes.
Shell. If not,
Definitely
then
a fan show. And that's
then
why
it's rough.
I'm excited for the Science Saru anime, which from the trailer and from the fact that it's new studio, I'm feeling it's just going to be a straight adaptation of the manga.
oh yeah,
Yeah, so I'm thinking it's going to be that, and it might just be a fun, like, not too philosophical, but still kind of philosophical manga. It's just going to have fun, and who knows, maybe they'll adapt the parts that the Masamune Shiro, who took those parts out of the manga. If you know, you know.
I don't know. Wink, wink. Well, maybe we won't say that. I don't know what it is, but we can skip it.
Let's just say Makoto has fun times with another girl in the deep diving, in the dive.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Color me intrigued. I'm just kidding.
We'll have the mangas if you want to read them. Well, they're not there anymore.
Well, I think that pretty much does it for our show today, everybody. Thank you all for watching and listening. We don't have a show picked for this week. I know it's Skylar's turn. Forgive me, Skylar, but next time we gotta do the seasonal review.
Yeah.
Seasonal review.
We did it. We made it to another end of a season of anime. So next time we will be reviewing the spring season of 2024 anime, and then the week after that we'll be doing the 2024 summer preview, and then after that we'll be back to our normally scheduled book club-esque anime watching episodes like we just did today. Thank you guys, and thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have a great life. We'll see y'all then. Take care.
Bye.